all this bleeding, they will all be turned to dust! Anyone tries to hurt my friends, it's gonna pay! This is the true power. Autonomous Ultra Instinct! You understand, don't you?
Now, just when you thought you've seen it all, we are only now beginning to scratch the surface, as I want to introduce you all to the newly created Omega Cooliza within Xenoverse 2, and before we start entering into spoiler territory, I will be answering a lot of your questions when it comes down to Omega Cooliza, and specifically with where he ranks by comparison to a lot of our heroes, and so I thought what better way to kick things off than by having Omega Cooliza battle against Beerus, and just in case if you're curious if Beerus is stronger than Cooliza, the answer to that question is no, and so one of the many aspects to Cooliza which made Frieza that much more cunning within the story of the top 5 strongest is Frieza had made sure to go out of his way to do everything and anything that he possibly could, even by taking shortcuts via the serum, to ensure his inevitable victory over Goku and Vegeta by any means necessary. And so when you want to take into consideration how strong a potential fusion like this would be, then you can make no mistake about the fact that he would be able to effortlessly solo Beerus without even having to put up much of an effort. So with Beerus typically not shown having to do anything, let alone even be shown training with Whis or anybody else within the mainline series of Dragon Ball Super, the exact same approach was taken upon his character within this story as well. So just in case if you're kind of curious, then the answer to the question of who would win between Omega Cooliza and Beerus would in fact be Omega Cooliza. So with that being said, let's now go ahead and jump into the next fight that we have coming up right after this, because not for nothing, we have a lot to talk about, specifically when it comes down to the character of Vegeta. Now, for a lot of people that wanted to see the concept of fusion be reintroduced by having Goku and Vegeta fuse to fight Omega Cooliza, Vegeta had gone as far as to make a very strong point in his argument by suggesting that fusion would be a cop-out, especially against Frieza now. But just in case if you're kind of curious, yes, Omega Cooliza is stronger than Mastered Ultra Ego Vegeta and even Primal Ultra Instinct Goku, but one of the many reasons for this is due to the fact of them having to inject serums within their blood, and from that point having to gain the upper hand and leverage over the opposition, which in this case are in fact Goku and Vegeta, but their fusion will inevitably backfire as we near the end of this entire story, to which the way Goku and Vegeta are going to be paired off and taking Cooliza down is going to be in a very interesting and yet unique way that is not only going to make Goku shine, which rightfully so he does deserve, but also Vegeta as well, because of course, for those that haven't already noticed, Vegeta has yet to even drop out of his Mastered Ultra Ego form to begin with. So with that now being said, there is so much more left for us to talk about, so let's now go ahead and jump into the next fight to see what we got coming up next, because not for nothing, this upcoming battle that I have planned with said individual is going to be a very, very interesting one. Now, just like Vegeta currently right now, Omega Cooliza is stronger than Primal Ultra Instinct Goku, and one of the main reasons as to why that is because, number one, Goku and Vegeta have been fighting non-stop, so of course, naturally, they are tired, but similar to that in many cases, just like we've seen them fight against Zamasu, just like we've seen them fight against Jiren, just like we've seen them fight against Broly, just like we've seen them fight against Moro, just like we've seen them fight against Granolah and Gas, even if these two are tired, they're still gonna go as far as to actually try anyway, and even if they don't end up getting the job done right away, they eventually end up doing it anyhow. So Dragon Ball Super's trope has always been teamwork from the beginning, and Goku and Vegeta have always used teamwork to overcome the opposition here, so this is by no means any different, because originally Goku did not know as to what the heck was going on Earth after he brought Vegeta there to actually ask him and saying, hey, do you want to fight Tekira with? Which Vegeta responded, no, we have bigger problems to worry about and it's only going to get worse, so make your choice because I'm not going going to fight with you, right? Now, that's not to suggest that we aren't going to see anything of the sorts happen in the sequel, to which I'm gonna shed more light on that later on, but I've already planted seeds, and just in case if you're kind of already curious as to who you can expect to see fight in the sequel way down the line in the future, I will go as far as to say this much. You can already expect to see the fight involving Budo and Vegeta go down, given their similar personalities and given their brief interaction, to which they are going to have more than one, especially towards the end of this story. And so, for many people that have been asking the question on whether or not Goku's going to go back into his angel form and use that to some capacity, the answer to that question is going to be yes, but his overall cooldown period is going to come and go frequently, so even if he ends up using his angel form again, to which he will, by no means is he going to be able to last very long while using that power slash transformation to begin with, because again, he's going to have to need more practice, he's going to have to hone that transformation a little better, and so just like we've seen go down originally during the event of the Tournament of Power with Goku having to lose his initial Mastered Ultra Instinct transformation due to the fact of really not having his body be adjusted enough in wielding that power, the same exact case can be made here. And so with all of that now out of the way, let's now go ahead and jump into the next fight that we have coming up ahead, because let me tell you, you're gonna want to stick around and hear what I have to say in regards to this one. Now check it out, just in case if you're kind of curious on whether or not Omega Cooliza can in fact compete against the top 5 strongest in the multiverse, the answer to that question is simply put no. However, the only other individual that maybe you can make the case for is possibly maybe Budo, but even if in a situation if you had Budo versus Omega Cooliza, then Budo would simply mop the floor with Omega Cooliza. However, Omega Cooliza would give Budo a definite run for his money and even go as far as to push him to some extent, but all 5 individuals ranging from the Grand Priest to Tekira to Yoshido, Akuma, and Budo would be able to contest and defeat Omega Cooliza with ease. But what I want to know from you guys down below is, should I create somewhat of an alternate kind of chapter to which kind of goes as far as to showcase either of the 5 or maybe even all 5 of them together ganging up, or even going as far as to jump Cooliza in battle by taking him on instead of Goku and Vegeta? So if that is something you guys want to see in terms of having somewhat of an alternate kind of route be taken in this story, then let me know down below, to which if you guys want to see it or not, and I will strongly make that consideration to do that for you, because if that is something that you guys want to see, then I will try my best to make that happen for you guys, especially if you guys collectively want to see the top 5 having to bang out against Omega Cooliza. So I definitely do think that it would make for a very interesting chapter, as it really wouldn't be tied into the main canon ending that I have in mind for this story. But again, if that is something that you guys want to see, then let me know down below, because right now, even if I end up beating Budo, by no means would that be the actual outcome if they end up fighting, because if these two actually fought, then you can rest assured that Budo would be able to take him, as well as the others as well. So I am going to be shedding even more light in the sequel story by having to give you guys somewhat of a representative flashback, to which it goes as far back to show how the 5 end up coming to be, their initial training with the Grand Priest, how strong they are, how strong they were, and how they came up from the ranks of nothing to becoming the essential mightiest within the multiverse in this current canon story. And so you can only rest assured that we have so much more coming your way, to which right now I want to go ahead and battle against one of my other custom-made fusions, because not for nothing, I am kind of itching for a fusion fight, so I kind of want to see where Omega Cooliza would scale against a fusion of this caliber. Okay, so check it out. Even if this fusion fight were to actually occur, to which we have Goku fusing with Granolah, by no means would Granoku be able to stand any sort of chance against Omega Cooliza. But let's just say if we did actually have a Mastered Ultra Ego Vegeta and a Primal Ultra Instinct Goku use fusion, then you can only rest assured that Omega Cooliza would go down in a very brutal way. And I'm not saying that you will never see that fusion, because wink wink nudge nudge, you actually are. But I'm not going to tell you when, I'm not going to tell you how, I'm not going to tell you how that ends up coming to be, but it's going to happen in such a way later down the line that I think you guys are really going to enjoy it, because not only are you going to see those 2 characters fuse, but you're also going to see so many other characters fuse as well in that specific story. So I really even wouldn't rule out someone like Granoku out of the picture either, because that is yet another strong possibility as well. But not for nothing, right now Granoku doesn't look like he's faring up very well, so I think that Omega Cooliza would definitely smash question without question, in which even to that, let's now go on ahead and jump into the final fight that we have coming up next, because not for nothing, I've been getting this question left and right. So many of you guys wanted to know on whether or not Omega Cooliza was in fact stronger than this individual. Can he fight this individual by himself? And so I want to go on ahead and take the time now to kind of dive a little bit more in depth by giving you guys the answer to the question that you've been asking me. Now, what better way to close things off than by featuring Omega Cooliza having to battle against the fallen angel Merno, to which many people have been asking me about the question if whether or not Omega Cooliza is going to be stronger or if he already is stronger than Merno, and the answer to that question is simply put, no. However, I've made this public before to say that next year I am going to be releasing the Merno sequel, which is honestly going to be a story that you guys are not going to see coming because it's really not going to be what you think it's going to be, and I am going to be introducing, without giving any spoilers or anything else away, a character or maybe said characters that are going to be even more powerful than Merno in that specific story. But when having to cross-examine and cross-reference these two characters here, Omega Cooliza would by no means stand any sort of chance against Merno, and so the same thing can be applied to Goku, Vegeta, and even the top 4 strongest, which includes Akuma, Yoshido, Budo, and Tekira, with of course the only exception being the Grand Priest standing at the actual pinnacle of power minus Zeno, which to that often reflects back onto the mainline series with the Omni King having to sit at the totality of power as number 1 with the Grand Priest as number 2. But all in all, if there were ever to be a scenario to which Merno was introduced and being shown having to battle against Omega Cooliza, then it really wouldn't be much of a fight, as Merno would go as far as to tear apart Omega Cooliza before having to finish off Cooler and Frieza as individuals. So you can only imagine as to how this would go, and it's pretty much going to be very similar to what you guys are seeing right now with Omega not being able to touch Merno given how strong Merno actually is. So by the end of it, I have so many surprises, including what I'm going to be doing with the story of the top 5 strongest in the Multiverse sequel, which I will go off on a limb now to say that if you're kind of wondering as to when I'm going to be putting out that sequel, well, the time frame to which I'm contemplating on putting out the top 5 sequel will be after the Merno sequel is over and done with, so I can't really give you guys any sort of specific date, nor can I even give you guys any sort of specific year, but you can rest assured that I am working on both projects now. Even though I am working on it by myself with one other individual, it by no means is easy to handle, especially when you're doing it alone. But to that, all I can ever really say is that everything is made possible because of you guys, the viewers, so I can only ever go as far as to thank you guys so much for literally everything, to which, as always, if you guys also just so happen to be new to this channel, then I do encourage for you guys to go on over and smash that subscribe button, on top of making sure to give this video a big fat thumbs up by smashing that like button down below, because we have so much more coming your way that I really think you guys are not going to see anything that I have planned coming your way once, of course, I end up introducing it. And so by no means is Omega Cooliza going to be somewhat of a pushover in this story, of course, even though we are nearing the conclusion, but Cooliza will fall short of a big issue that's going to weigh their fusion down, especially towards the latter half of their battle with Goku and Vegeta. And so just like that, Omega Cooliza falls to the fallen angel known as Merno. So again, I would like to thank each and every single one of you guys for watching. Thank you all so much for your time. Tune back in for more. Thank you all so much for being here. And with all that being said, now I will be seeing each and every single one of you down in the comment section below and in the next video. Take it easy, guys, and have a great day. Peace.
The gap between us is getting smaller and smaller. Let's see how you handle Ultra Instinct. Nothing you do can hurt me. I'm ready to test out this new power of mine. No Patara needed here. You're looking at pure natural power. I'll make sure your death is slow and painful.